Hey, it's Display J. I'm up here in the attic. Check it out. Charles Morgan, Rocksteady Sound coming at you.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're here at Rocksteady Sound Podcast here at the Attic, Frederick, Maryland, in our podcast studio. And I have today's guest. We have Miss Tina Johnson, comedian. She hails out of Front Royal, Virginia, and also a friend of mine, Pat Raitt. He's out of Long Island. Long Island, New York. I got it right. Yeah. Welcome to the show, guys. I really appreciate your time. I really love both of you guys. And let's see who I want to start with first. Let's start with, I know you, Pat. Let's start with Tina Johnson. Tina. I'll first tell how I first met you. We were doing an open mic with Ace and Connor, Front Royal, Virginia. And I noticed you came in, and you're a very beautiful woman, and you did your mic very funny. The second time we did the mic together at the same Front Royal open mic, I performed after you, and you had on a red dress. I do remember. I took a picture with you. I have it in my phone. I will show it to you. But you're very remarkable, very inspirational. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
About myself. I'm a comedian and a poet. Art educator. I'm a hillbilly. I live in the woods on a mountain. Yeah. I love people, but not enough to let them on my property.
No, that's right.
Kinda, yeah. I've been grateful for comedy. I started driving again after I started, so it's been a bit of a rumspringer for me. A third career.
Some of your early inspirations in comedy.
Eddie Murphy Raw.
Red
Fox. Carol Burnett. Margaret Cho.
I like Margaret.
Yeah, and I always like David Letterman's silly humor when he does random silly things.
Yeah, I grew up watching him every night. He's one of my all-time favorites. Definitely, especially spontaneity with David Letterman. You never knew what you was going to get. Yeah. Everything was thoughtful. Sometimes it was really bad. And when him and Conan went together, I love Conan.
I love
Conan just as much, just for sketch comedy.
When they were both on the air together?
Yeah, they were both on the air together. I had to watch
back to back.
You know, Letterman was more structured, but Conan came in with a younger, more goofy style, and that's the style I kind of grew towards more. Yeah. And how many years have you been doing comedy?
About a year and a half.
I've
always written humorous things, but performing stand-up is a very different process. I didn't know that when I started. I figured I'm just a writer. I'm going to write and get up there and be funny, but it's a very different craft, as you know.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Have you ever bombed? You felt that you bombed before?
Yeah.
Yeah?
A lot. I think that's part of my job. I bomb very well.
No doubt it happens. You hear crickets and everything. You're looking at the light on the candles and the empty bar glasses going thinking, what am I going to do? Let me see what else. Let me ask Pat a couple. I'll come back to you. Let me get Pat, Mr. Long Island here.
Come back to you.
Right. We'll come back to you. We got time because we got great editing crew here.
Okay.
And you, Mr. Pat Raitt.
Yeah, that's me.
How many years have you been doing comedy?
Oof. I'm coming up on 2.
2 years.
Yeah, April 24th. Be my 2-year anniversary.
Wow. I think I'm July 16th, something like that, my 2-year anniversary.
Yeah, we started right around the same time.
It's amazing, man, that we started around the same time because when I first met you, you came in, it seemed like everybody knew you. When I go to comedy clubs and open mics, I sit back and I watch who people pay attention to, and then I watch their sets to see who really has it. And when you first came in there, you just have the little rhinoceros thing going, and you're really stand-up-ish. And we talked a little bit outside, and then I saw your set. I was like, wow, smooth and polished. This guy must have been in 7-8 years. And then when you told me we were in the same time, I was like, I was blown away. Because every time I see you hustling and grinding, and just I don't want to talk enough about you because we have a lot of fun out there when we shooting these doing these mics and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
man.
it's just amazing just to be sitting here with you and across from you. And you know what else? He's going to edit this out, but I've been trying to get you on this podcast in studio for about a year and a half, darn near. And
It's true. Yeah,
it's true. Okay. I wanted that on the books before we go any further. So enough about me and go ahead about you. We'll edit it back to you now. Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right.
Just tell me a little bit about yourself and that little New York City walk that you normally do. I love those stories we were talking about in the car the other day.
Yeah. Well, I'm not from the city, so just to be clear, it's a big. Long Island is the suburbs.
Right. That's quite all right.
So I grew up in the surbs. If you say you're from the city and someone from Brooklyn,
if you're within the city limits,
that's not the real. But yeah, so I grew up in Long Island. I went to college in upstate New York. I learned how to be polite up there, because in downstate New York, which we call it down there, it's what the downstate people don't even think about the upstate people, basically. But the upstate people certainly think about the downstate people.
Exactly. They don't want them up there?
No. I
have family in Poughkeepsie, so shout out to Poughkeepsie.
Yeah, that's kind of upstate-ish, but I was like way up there. It was like the Midwest, basically. Like they call soda pop and sprinkles Jimmy's and shit like that. They got that like long O's in their accents. Hot. Yeah, it's that's some serious cultural references there.
That's right.
But I remember my first day on campus in upstate New York. Like this group of people are like, "Hi, strangers," and I was like, "What the fuck you want?" And now I'm like the high guy. You know what I mean? Now I'm walking down the street. It brought out the friendly side of me, and I'm grateful for that. So I lived half my life in New York, I like to say, and the other half in D.C., which means my expectations for bagels are very high, right? But my expectations for democracy are
way down there. I got it.
A little lower, yeah. So I've been down here since 2000, living in the DMV. I lived in all of them. I lived in Tacoma Park. I lived in Logan Circle. I lived in Northern Virginia for most of the time, though. That's where I've been. Cool, I got 2 kids, 2 daughters.
What?
And comedy, like I got into it on a fluke, basically. Like a lot of people, I don't know about you or Tina, but like a lot of people I hear, they're like, I wanted to do this my whole life and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I like comedy. Like I love Chris Rock, like growing up, and Eddie Murphy, like you were talking about Eddie Murphy, and I watched it, but like I had no intention of actually doing it,
Right.
And a friend of mine, basically a couple of years ago, we were in New York. He invited me to come to some open mics, and I was like, "What's an open mic?" And he was like, "Oh, it's where people do comedy." And so I went to it, and I was like, "Oh, this is where people do bad comedy." God, God, I see it.
You get a lot of that. Woo. Yes, you do.
But anyway, so afterwards, I didn't do it the first day. I just watched. I just watched. The wheels got turning. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The wheels got turning, and I was giving my friend feedback back at the place we were staying at. I was like, you should switch up your open. I was like so arrogant, like giving him feedback. He'd been doing it for a while.
Right.
I was like, you need to do this. You should do that.
Imagine that, right?
Yeah. I mean, look at me being arrogant. Who knew? But he was very kind. He took it really well, and he was like, you need to actually do it. And I was like, me? No. He's like, yeah, you. And I was like, nah. He's like, no. He's like, you do it. And I was like, nah. And he's like, I will pay the $5. I was like, okay, I'll do it.
That's good.
So almost $5 stood in the way of me and doing this shit. So I got up, and it was at the West Side Comedy Club. This guy Craig Lautner, who you met last week, good guy. He runs shows up there, and does feedback mic on Mondays at the West Side. We stopping? We keep going, or what's going on?
Keep going. No. They got the camera on you, so I can take a drink and they'll edit me out.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll just worry about it. But anyway, like every comic, like I've gone back and watched that tape for my first time, and like my setup's way too long. The way I handled the microphone, I don't think I actually started talking for like 35 seconds, and the clock was going and stuff. But the great thing is like all my punches like landed. I was doing like crowd work. I didn't even know what that was. I was riffing in the room, and then I just got the bug, dude. Like, and that's all she wrote.
Right. Tina, question: you like crowd work? Do you do crowd work? You like crowd work?
I'm starting to do crowd work. I think I will really like crowd work because I love people.
Right.
And I love fucking with people.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that, man. I love doing it also. I mean, sometimes I'm out there and I just see somebody looking at me or a bright face or something, and I say, hey, or someone like yourself, oh, you look so great. You look like you make a delicious apple pie. Delicious. It just gets people going, you know what I mean? You just connect with people. And we
Get you into trouble though, crowd work.
I'm not really into getting into trouble. I ain't really trying to. They don't want this smoke that I'm bringing. Really, I'm trying to. I'm the
no fucks with you, dude.
Not really. I don't even. If I want to meet that guy, because I'm be like, you know what? You need to be my bodyguard. Because I don't understand.
Because you're like the nicest guy, but like you get on stage.
If I do like this, like Ice Cube, and do my hand like this, and I put my little hoodie on, put my arms in my pocket, I'm gonna be like, Pat, go to the car, get away from me, bro. I'm trying to say no, but for the most part, I'm about bringing people together, and humor is the way I'm going to do it. And
hell yeah,
and
man.
Just telling people, stop listening to what they hear on television and things like that, and just be nice to people. Jesus Christ, you just can't be nice to people.
Yeah. You talking to yourself right now? Or?
No, I'm just talking to people in general.
No, it's true.
I'm like the kitten of the group in here. You know.
Yeah, you're a sweetheart.
I'm gonna
I
tell
know
you,
you're a sweetheart, but you go at people.
I'm gonna tell you one to look out for. That dude right there behind the camera, Jay. He's the one you got to watch out for. Look at him. See that little smirk he gave you, like, oh, get out of here.
He's got some bodies.
Yeah, he got some bodies on him.
You're underestimating me, though.
No, I'm not underestimating you because I see you with that cane, and I know might be the 007 knock him out with. I didn't expect her to hit me with the cane. Bam, get him.
Pat got me one that has a sword in it.
Does he?
Uh-huh.
That's good. That's a real good friend.
Yeah.
That's a good friend.
Yeah, if you pull out the top, it's got a sword.
The top. Yeah, tell him, you can get whatever you want. Whack. Rock and roll, right?
Yeah.
Rock and roll, what? Mm-hmm. All right, let me ask you a question, Tina. What type of music you like? What type of music you listen to? You seem like a very earthly. You seem like a very earthly person, very earthly caring person. Tell us about yourself as far as like that. What type of music and
mostly country music and bluegrass, but really any live music. About probably half of my friends are musicians. Okay. So like last night, I went and listened to an open mic. I did comedy too, but
where was that at?
Port Royal at the Catamount Lounge.
Okay.
So
shout out Catamount Lounge.
Yeah, you'll have to come out.
I'll try. We'll try to get out there.
Yeah.
Now, what night? It was on, what's that? Monday night. Mm-hmm. That's a good night because you know what? Between like Tuesday and Thursdays, it's like Mike heaven. Especially on Thursdays, hanging with this guy, man. You can go like 16 mics in the night if you can make it with this dude.
I'm going to.
It's super crazy, but
that's a light night for us, man.
That's a light night. This guy told me he did 9 open mics in a week.
Yeah, he did.
Tell us how that works out. So I can't even imagine it.
Well, I mean,
2 a day in 5 days is a lot.
Well, I mean, so Tina and I actually went to New York City on Monday last week, and we did 4 in one place. We just camped out there. You know, I took a vacation day, and then it just flows from there. So then I did Electric Palm. And
it's a great place. Shout out to Electric
Yeah.
Palm. Dwayne White.
Yeah, it's a great room. And then we did what was Wednesday?
I think it was also
I
the Palm.
did. No, Give a Hoot.
You did Give a Hoot. I did the Palm.
Yeah, Give a Hoot in Gaithersburg. That's another great room. Mm-hmm. You've done that one, or
no, man?
Yeah, you would.
I'm going to do all these rooms with you, man. I'm going to figure out how to find you because you know what every room is.
I don't know about every room, but
I used to get online and beg people to tell me what rooms were, and wouldn't nobody ever say anything.
Yeah, really?
Yes. When I first went to DC, if it wasn't for Gabe and Spaghetti on the Beach, what's up?
Angel
Pen. That's right. If it wasn't for those 2 guys getting me out there, I couldn't even get my feet wet.
Yeah,
you told me about Spaghetti on the Beach.
Yeah.
At the cellar the first time I met you, and I just remembered that. And that got me started. And I remember telling Jay, I met Pat, and I'm starting to go here. Now, what's amazing about the whole experience for me is when we went to Club Nero, what do they call that?
Nero,
Nero.
Alex Mike,
Alex Quinn. Shout out to Alec. And to know that many comedians that I know from just 2 years, 20 months, it's just amazing to me to see like Uncle John, all those guys.
Yeah, Uncle John was there.
Everybody was in there. It's like,
I love Uncle
when all
John.
your friends,
so nice.
It's like when all your friends get around, you have to up your game, especially at that spot. You have to up your game.
Yeah.
You have to up your game, and
Yeah.
I just felt that pressure. And it felt really good, though. It felt really good. And that place had a feeling of like an old school comedy club where you might not get on until 12:45. You might get 3 minutes and you better be good or they'll cut you, man. It's like really, really good, man. That's
that room, it's a new room, but she's doing a good job. Yeah.
Great job.
For sure. Yeah, and Angel Penn, same thing. I think he was... have you been Angel yet?
No, and we need to compete because I heard he has almost as good a laugh as me. Almost.
Arguably, he
got the best laugh.
Yeah, you haven't heard her laugh though.
I haven't heard
David Tell calls me Giggles.
David Tell calls you Giggles. Well, that's a good thing.
I have to tell you, he's my
Are you coming to the
boyfriend.
cellar tonight?
Yes.
Are you on tonight? You're on tonight?
Yes.
Doing the set?
Yeah.
We're all three doing sets tonight.
Hell
Word
yeah,
out.
man.
Shout out to
Ryan
in the cellar.
But Angel Penn has a famous laugh. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And when he was doing, I think that laugh, because he laughed at like, I don't want to say anything, but like.
I didn't want to say anything, but
I get like that too.
But he's supportive.
No, he's very supportive.
Yeah.
And I really think that laugh has saved more lives than the suicide hotline.
I'm going to tell you something. And when I was in college, I studied acting, and one of the exercises we had was always to mimic one of your classmates. You have to come in, you always have to mirror them or mimic them or an animal or something.
Yeah.
And I became very good at listening to people for about 10 minutes and then talking or mirror acting the way they act. And Angel Penn's laugh is something I cannot get because it's just so, you know what I mean? It's just so.
But the great thing is not just Angel, it's his brother David, who you saw at Nero last week. He's closed. He was.
He's the closer. Yeah. I remember.
And he's starting to get into it. He's funny as fuck, man.
Is he? Man, there was so many funny people at Nero. Like the guy that was homeless whose parents died. I don't know how you can turn that into jokes, but he did. I was like, wow, man.
That's the magic.
Yeah,
right?
Man, that is the magic. And let me ask you a question, Tina. Have you found the formula yet? Because you know there's like a formula. When doing it, and when you get up there and you work your formula, have you found your formula? Or has anyone told you about the formula, or are you just going up there winging it?
There's a formula?
I don't know if there's a formula, but I've had two different people tell me I found my voice. I guess that's
right.
Maybe that's what that means.
What I found people tell me in seasoned comics 10 years and over is you go in, you use a couple. You want to use a couple jokes that you know are going to hit well, but not like throwing them out the ballpark, and then you give them a nice story in the middle to kind of lull them and to come into. Sorry about that. And then you give them a lull and you try to bring them back in, and then you hit them at the end before they leave out. Boom, boom, boom. So you're not always firing off. I've had probably like 6 or 7 seasoned comics tell me that because I was just trying to fire off. They were like, I was firing off. He was like, look, tell them more about yourself, tell more stories, and take time. And the first thing I noticed was this, and this is where I thought I bombed. I fired off 2 really good jokes, and I said, let me tell you guys a story. And I took time and started telling the story. And the people actually sat back and were watching and listening. And like 3/4 of the way through the story, I said, am I bombing? And everybody was like, we bombing? This is a great story. But I didn't, because I didn't hear the constant laugh, I didn't realize. But at the end, it all came down. And my manager, I think Jay had said to me, no, man, you're doing great. People want to hear it. You got to go through it. And that's where I learned to just sit in and just tell a story. And I think the show I had this Saturday is the first time I actually got to sit in and just tell stories and just let them go story after story after story. And it felt so good.
Yeah.
You know, it started off real nice and great. You know, there was one little hiccup at the beginning. Mr. J, but we won't talk about that. No, but other than that, Jay's great.
He's throwing you under the bus.
Jay's great. I always do.
He's just gonna edit you.
And you know what he does? It'll never be seen. He'll be like, "Yeah, man, thank you."
That's on the couch.
Go on,
He'll be like, "Yeah, man, good job. Fuck you, though." That's the way Jay does it. Real cool. But no, it was really great, and people actually sat and listened. I got time to be real comfortable, and it just flowed, man. I felt good afterwards. I was like, man, it's pretty one of my best. And Jay was like, man, Jay looks at him and says, hey, man, awesome job. I was like, really, Jay? Awesome from you? Okay, that's cool. But it was really fun, man. I'm just learning to get into that groove as far as going in them, crushing them, give them something, a little story to get to know you by, maybe a little crowd work, and then you leave them with boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, we were,
That's been my formula I'm working on.
we were talking about that the other night.
We were talking about open and closers. Yeah.
Say what?
We were talking about open and, or you're talking, I'm sorry.
Well, Charles and I, we had a whole conversation about it that we talked about this sort of quote unquote formula. And it basically put it really good. It's like kill, ride, kill.
Right.
That's sort of the formula.
Ron Nessel's one of the guys who told me about that. And
And I actually, after that conversation, I went and I actually charted all my jokes out.
Right.
Along that kind of like chart, right? Where it's like quick hits, essentially.
Boom,
Then
boom,
more
dip it down.
storytelling type shit.
Bring it in.
And then quick hits.
Exit out.
But then you also have like overlay that, I think, with your persona, right? Because if you come in with, like, if I come out of the gate like, hey, you guys like porn, they're going to be like, this guy's fucking an asshole.
he's a hack. Yeah, he's a hack
Right.
already.
Right.
But like, you know, you can play around after you win them over and you get them on your side type of thing.
Yeah,
And-
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it took me about
But yeah, it was helpful.
It took me like 4 or 5 shows to implement it because when I did because I wanted to hear laugh after laugh after laugh
Yes.
after laugh.
Yes.
But
the feedback. Yeah.
when you look at the greats, it's not like that. They can just sit back and just relax and tell a story about their lives, and people will sit there amazed. And like I said the other night, y'all want these 25 jokes I written, or you want true stories? 100% of the time, they say true stories. 100%.
Well, they're all true stories, Charles.
Yeah.
I love to embellish because I'm always on
too.
top when I embellish.
I'm always telling the truth every single time.
every single
None.
time.
Oh yeah, no lies.
Not
ever.
me, man.
Yeah.
No, it's all lies, man. It's all embellishments and lies and
Yeah.
exaggerations. And,
You know, most comics have their insecurities, and for us to we're arrogant and insecure at the same. I felt as me and Mel being a comic. I'm not sure about you. I do have a story to tell, but I'm very insecure about some things, but very arrogant about other things. Like if someone called me on one of my insecurities, I probably clam up, but I would never let anybody know. But I kind of put them into some of my jokes, and if you can find them, that's up to you.
all right, I'm not trying to put you down.
I'm
man,
not saying
know?
you are, but it's just weird how some comics approach comedy differently, and I just think that everybody's different. We all have something to bring to the table, and that's the one thing I'm learning. You never know where someone comes from, their story, their life, and for anybody to get up and become a comic and stand up there and even become orators and tell you a story or dream or this and this, and other people take to it, and it touches people.
Right.
I had a lady Saturday night came to me at the end. She had tears in her eyes. I'm looking at her going, "What's going on, sweetie?" She was like, "I feel your frequency and vibration." I was like, "I feel yours too. Go out and be great. Go tell somebody you love them that you don't know." And she just hugged me and walked off. I was like, "Okay, cool." I went and hugged the tree and kissed it. No, it was really.
This is the Saturday show?
No, yeah, man, it was really beautiful. It's my 3rd time being there, man. Every time I've gotten incrementally better. I wouldn't say exponentially, just incrementally, but I've gotten
That's what
better.
it is.
I've gotten better, and I feel real comfortable when I go into rooms like that. Let's see. Tina, any shout outs to any friends, family, Romans, countrymen you want to shout out to? First time? Is this your first time on the podcast?
No, it's the first time on a podcast with being videoed as well.
Okay, so it was just audio.
Yeah, but my co-producer, Chris Catworthy at Helltown Entertainment, he's what I want to connect you all with.
Right.
A
Appreciate
shout
that.
out to Chris.
Shout out to Chris. That's it.
Shout out to Helltown. Shout out to Front Royal.
Front Royal, yeah. What's up, Front Royal? I was out there. I'm coming back to Front Royal. I'm definitely with
Yeah.
Front Royal.
Yeah.
Pat Raitt, what's your long list of shout outs, sir?
Man, long list of shout outs. Shout out to my kids for giving me a lot of material.
Word, yeah, my kids. They give me all the material. Yes, definitely. My grandson also.
Shout out to Xanax.
Shout out to marijuana.
I think one thing,
Gummies.
the one thing I would give a shout out to is the Armed Services Arts Partnership.
Yeah.
Definitely. I am a member.
Yes.
I am a member.
Yeah. It's a great program. I did a class with them. I'm one of those comedians that did the class, and I think a lot of comics rolled their eyes at that, and that's fine. But I had some really great teachers. I had Dwayne White, I had P.T. Bratt and Dan Kaufman as my teachers. So pretty solid group of people that pretty early on. I was about 3 months into comedy when I got into that class, and they're a great organization. And I did like an improv class with them. I'm doing an acting class with them now. They're really, really awesome organizations support vets like yourself, active duty military, and military sort of adjacent people like me. So if I'm gonna shout out to anyone, I'm gonna shout out to ASAP.
ASAP.
Yeah.
Interesting story about ASAP. I was at a wedding. I will not say whose wedding. And I was at a wedding and I was doing my comic thing, just sitting there. Hey, tell some jokes. Just sitting there before the food got there. And this lady looked over at me and said, "Have you ever heard of ASAP?" I was like, "No." And I forgot her name, but she was like, "You have to come a part of it." And my daughter was listening to it because your kids and family members can join also.
Yes.
And that's a great thing about it. Yes, and
sure.
my daughter was interested and she pushed me and I ended up joining and talking to them. Now, the problem with it is scheduling. When they have their classes, you got to be really committed to the scheduled times of their classes, correct?
You have to attend.
Yeah. They're somewhat rigorous. Yeah.
And finding the right one for you. You said you're taking up Shakespearean theater. What do you?
I was not trying to bring that up on there.
To be or not to be. That's too brute. I'm thinking out all the sickness. I can't wait till you perform that. I can't wait. I'm gonna be there.
You know, I had a friend who made fun of that joke.
No.
Yeah, he said it was the dumbest joke he ever heard of play.
He's just grumpy. That friend is just a grumpy butt.
Will it be nobler in the minds? Come on now. You know what? Everybody has to learn that, man.
To
You didn't
be
learn
or
that? To
not
be or
to.
not to be. That is the question.
But fundamentals of acting is a really good way to help comedy. I'm taking improv starting tomorrow. I took a storytelling workshop with them.
With ASAP, right?
With ASAP. And they do have like I took a one-day comedy class with them.
Yeah.
They have things you could just do for one day.
Yeah, I'm gonna really start in my second year, pick up with ASAP a lot. I mean, things have really been rolling fast for me over the last 18, 20 months, and I'm enjoying it, meeting great people on the road. Getting to see you, Tina, after doing 2 mics with you and you not recognizing me with my hat on.
Sorry, I said I'll say it on the thing. I was a little bit of a drinker.
Look, I got a picture of her in my phone.
I was a little bit of a drinker.
I have a picture of her in my phone. I remembered her. You were in a wheelchair. You were in a wheelchair when you came up, and I saw you when you signed the list, and I just watched the whole room and just paid attention to people, and I paid attention to you the first time when you came. The second time you had on a red dress. I was like, wow, there she is again. That's cool. But the second time, I didn't see you walking like the stage the first time. I just always saw you in a wheelchair. So when they rolled you up to the stage and you automatically stood up and just walked up, I was like, a miracle. It's and that's the joke that I said. But I was like, nobody else got the miracle. And I was like, she rolled up and then but I was just, just a little poke.
Oh, did that one not go so well? Or?
No, they
Well,
kind
just
of.
because the town knows me.
Yeah, they kind of like, it was like real cool. It wasn't disrespectful. I was
No.
like, I'm the only one that saw the miracle in the house. No one else noticed it.
You guys sound like
They're used to my miracles.
Stop getting red for me because you're getting red for me saying it. She didn't get red. He get red on it.
Oh, this is my natural complexion.
But no, it was great. It was great, and to see you here today and to know we're going to do a mic, we're going to have a great time tonight, guys.
We
We're going to
are.
have a really
I love
great
Cellar
time.
Door.
We're going to be at the
Cellar Door,
Cellar Door, Frederick, Maryland. That's 5 Church Street, Frederick, Maryland. See how professional that looked when I said that? Like
I couldn't see it,
was
but I
very
believe
fancy.
it. Yeah.
Listen, before we get out of here, guys, let the people know how to get in touch with you, how they can find you on what social media platform. You first, Tina.
I'm Instagram. I'm Songbird Tina Marie.
Okay.
And Facebook. I'm Songbird Tina Marie Johnson. Yeah.
Pat Raitt, how can the people find you, see you, get in touch with you, let them know if you want some gigs, paying gigs, dollars.
Yeah,
Get
man.
strange for some change. No,
Yeah,
just joking.
yeah. I like money.
Just joking.
I like money.
You like money?
Yeah, Pat Raitt Comedy.
Pat Raitt Comedy.
Yeah, on Instagram. You follow me there. You hit me up.
We'll
as
hit you up,
as they say.
Hey, if you guys are ever out late night, Wednesday, Thursdays, you may see us in Virginia, Maryland, anywhere in the DMV. Look us up. Look us up. We'll be having a great time. Again, thanks again to my guests, Tina Johnson and Pat Raitt.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thanks for doing the Rock Steady Sound podcast. Appreciate you. Thank you, love.
Thank you.
And we're clear. I hate this fucking job. I hate it. I hate it.
It's a pretty good job.
Ah.
How do we do?
We did great. We did great.
Good content?